Prompt engineering is not dead, but prompt engineering alone is no longer enough. Earlier, the question was, what prompt should I write? Now, the better question is, what loop should I design? If you are using Claude Code, Cursor, Codex, or any agentic coding tool, you will notice one thing very fast. The tool can generate the code, but unless you design the workflow around it, you can still end up with unfinished project, broken test, messy files, and random changes. So in this video, I'll explain the loop engineering in a very simple language, how it actually connects to Claude Code, and why this may become one of the most important AI builder skills in 2026. As always, no hype, just the way senior builders actually work. So let's start simple. Let's take a look into the definition. See, loop engineering is designing a repeatable AI workflow. The basic loop would look like this: goal, plan, execute, check, improve, and then repeat or stop. Now, here's the analogy that I want you to hold. It's like assigning the work to a junior engineer. You don't say as one sentence and you would disappear, right? So for a junior engineer, you will give the goal, you will ask for the plan, you will review the progress and you test the output, and then you decide whether to continue. Now that's a loop. Prompting is one instruction, but a loop is a process. And here's the one key thing that I want you to remember. A senior builder does not just prompt, a senior builder is going to design the process. Now, let me make this concrete and let me make this difference very much clear. So when I say prompt engineering, it's basically one instruction, one response. There will be manual back and forth. You keep checking and you will keep on reprompting. In the case of loop engineering, it's different. Here, you will define the goal, you will define the steps, you will design the checks, and you define the feedback. You also define a stop condition and you define what requires the human approval. So think of it in this way. Prompting is like telling someone as please clean this room. But loop engineering is like creating a cleaning checklist, like pick up the clothes, arrange the desk, wipe the surfaces, check the floor, review the final room, and stop when it is clean. So prompt, just like the one that we have got, is like an instruction. The other one that I've just described is a process with an end state. So prompting will tell the AI what to do next. Loop engineering defines how the work should actually progress. Now, let's take a look into the loop itself. See, when we talk about the loop, goal, plan, execute, check, improve, and then repeat or stop. The important word over here is or. If the acceptance criteria are not met, the loop is going to repeat. If they are met, the loop stops. Now, that stop condition is what separates a real workflow from endless motion, because this is the one that matters more than many people think. Now, let me clear up a common confusion, guys. I know this is around there right now in the market. Is loop engineering, is it a feature in Claude Code? I want to say this. No, it's a workflow pattern. It's not owned by any single tool. Claude Code did not invent the loop engineering, but Claude Code made many developers feel the need for it. Why? Because Claude Code can work across your project file. It can generate the code, it can modify the file, it can support multi-step building. And the moment an AI can do all of that, a new question appears, that is, how can we control the loop? And that's the question that this video is over here is actually about. So let's talk about what happens without the loop. See, without a loop, a tool like Claude Code may generate too much code. It may make wrong assumption. It may break the existing code. It may skip the test. It may leave the README half written. And it may even leave the project unfinished. It's not because the tool is bad. It's because there was no process around it. Now, if you look at on the other side with the loop, you will define the requirement, you will create a plan, you will implement one small step, you run a test, you review the difference, you fix the issue, you update the documentation, and then you stop when the acceptance criteria are met. If you take a look at it, it's the same tool, but completely different outcome. So I want you to remember this: speed without structure creates faster confusion. A fast tool with no process doesn't save you time. It just makes the mess arrive sooner. Now, let me make this concrete with one example. Now, let's say we want to build a simple AI task classifier. Now, here in this scenario, for the use case of AI task classifier, let's say it will take a task and it will tell you its category. It will also tell its priority and the suggested next action. Let's assume that this is the one that we are trying to build, that is my AI task classifier. So I want you to watch closely as how this loop is going to run. The first thing over here is the planning. We define the goal. Maybe we ask the Claude Code to draft a short PRD and a product structure, that is my project structure, before we write any single code. And then here we agree on what we are actually building first. And then we have the execute step. In the execute step, we're going to implement the first version, which is just enough to take the task and return a category. And it should also return the priority and the next action. It is a small working one, not a perfect one. Then we'll do the check. Here in this check, we run a basic test cases. We review the output quality and we confirm whether it can handle the empty input instead of crashing when someone sends nothing. Then we look into the improve. Here we fix what we found. We add a README file. We add a small demo script so the project is actually explainable to someone else. And then stop. Over here, we stop when the acceptance criteria are actually met. Now, what are these criteria? Well, it accepts the task input, it classifies the category, it returns a priority, it suggests the next action. It can even handle the empty input. It has a README file and it has sample output. Now, when all of that is true, we stop. We don't keep tinkering forever. Now, here's the line that I want you to remember. Loop engineering is going to turn your AI coding from random prompting into what we call it as the repeatable building. Now, the question would come over here is, what makes a good builder loop? It's very simple. A clear goal, small steps, acceptance criteria, review step, test step, error handling, a stop condition, human approval for risky changes, and a documentation step. Now that's a checklist. I want you to print it and reuse it. See, I want you to just remember this analogy. A restaurant kitchen has a process, like, for example, order received, prepared, checked, served, feedback. Now, without that process, more speed just means more chaos. So, a loop without a stop condition is not intelligent, it is just endless motion. Now, I have to be honest with you. Not all loops are good, some loops are dangerous. A bad loop is when the AI keeps editing without review, when it keeps retrying without limit, when it changes the files randomly, when it fixes one bug and quietly creates another, when it uses the tools without permission, or when it spends cost with no control. The question is, how do you keep the loop safe? Limit the iteration, define the stop condition, require the human approval for risky action, inspect the difference, run the test, and log the important decision. I wanted to think about this as an example. A washing machine should not run forever. It has a cycle, right? And it has a stop condition. So a loop without the boundary is not automation, it is risk. There is also human approval done right. Manager sign off before you send the money or delete the data. The loop can move fast, but human stays on the risky steps. Now, let's connect this to the careers because this isn't just a tool trend right now. This is what is directly mapping to what real AI jobs ask for. Now, a job description might not say as loop engineering, but if you read closely and you will see it, they'll say agent workflows, automation, tool use, evaluation, reliability, debugging, AI coding workflows. Now, that's all the loop thinking described in the job description language. Now, here's the gap that most learners hit. Learning a topic is one thing, and positioning it for a job is another. You can understand the loops perfectly and still freeze when an interviewer asks you to explain how you would design one. So, here's where you would go next. If you are excited by Claude Code, Cursor, MCP, agents, and loop engineering, but you don't want to learn them randomly, I'll say start with Claude Code and AI Builder Lab. Now that's the structured builder path. We focus on Claude Code, Cursor, Python Foundation, MCP, agents and sub-agents, builder workflows, and building a shareable AI-powered app. You also get this self-paced weekly module, a live weekly build room with me, and the lifetime portal access. The module updates as the tools evolve. The point is very simple. You learn the tools inside a system, not as a random tutorial. And if your goal is career application, resume positioning, job description breakdown, and interview readiness, that's the AI Career Lab. It's a weekly live application lab where we turn AI learning into job readiness. Every week, we take one real AI, Gen AI, or Agentic AI job description. We break it down live. We map it to the resume positioning. We work on project explanation. We practice interview question and we compare weak answers to the strong ones. All right, guys. So let's bring this together. Prompting is still useful. It's not going anywhere. But if you want to build it seriously in 2026, start thinking in loops. Goal, plan, execute, check, improve, stop. That's how the AI tools become the builder system. System shift, demos don't. This is Nachiketh Murthy. I'll see you on the next one. And join our community to get the free resources. Take care.